Hey everyone, across the multiverse here. In this video, we are going to discuss about how strong is Kashimo, the thunder god himself. So, first of all, Kashimo is not a fraud. So please stop calling my goat the fraud. And second of all, we will basically discuss how strong is he and where does he stand in terms of Jujutsu Kaisen lineup of the strongest. So yeah, first get started with we have only seen Kashimo fight like 2-3 people. Like the first time we saw him, he had basically put a big hole within in the stomach of some random guy we never saw, and obviously that was a notice. So we don't know how strong that guy was, but we can assume he was not really that strong. And another thing was that then we saw him fight against Panda, who himself is actually strong, but not like not strong in terms of the strongest characters we have seen. So he basically also got noted. His second biggest fight comes in with Hakari, who was stated to be equal to basically Yuta, and Yuta said that Hakari on roll is stronger than he is. Now, while a lot of people disagree with that, that's another thing. But we are kind of putting that Hakari was stated to be one of the strongest characters in the time series, and which we saw that it was actually true, that he was one of the strongest characters in the entire series. It was not just a bluff or anything like that. So, Kashimo basically was going toe to toe with Hakari, and a lot of times basically almost killed Hakari, and a guy who was immortal himself, and sometimes even overpowered him. But at the end, he was sure getting a bit overpowered by Hakari at one point. Like, I do think Hakari with roll is basically stronger than like base Kashimo, but we did see them. We just saw that they were both almost equal. Like you can say they were like 51-49, and Hakari was like 55, let's say, and Kashimo was like 45. So yeah. So we saw that Kashimo in base even was already like stronger than most of the characters. I do think Kashimo in base is stronger than basically any character almost. He can basically fight. I think Kashimo is actually stronger than like the guy basically Toji and Maki himself. Now the reason is not that he is stronger or faster in stats, but one thing that puts him above them is that they will need the durability negation sword. If they have that, I do think they can defeat the base Kashimo. But if they don't have that, or they don't have, that's the only way they can defeat, because the Spear of Heaven does not really matter in case of Kashimo, since he does not really need the technique. But I do think without the durability negation sword, Kashimo will actually easily defeat Maki and Toji, because he just need like around 4-5 touches, which will actually zap them also. Even if they like manage to control and do not get that, all they need is that Kashimo need to touch them 4 to 5 times, and then Kashimo will basically can just hit the lightning, which will basically defeat them at this point, because if not for like the head and murdering them right away, they will basically lose the hand and stuff, which is basically the end of the fight at that point. So yeah, I do think without this the durability negation sword, Kashimo is stronger than Toji and Maki, but he is weaker than Hakari and Yuta. Now we come to the Kashimo with his technique, which is one of the strongest technique we have seen. Basically, a lot of people have this one assumption that Kashimo does not have RCT, which is not true. We saw Kashimo basically here from getting his hand cut or something like that. So Kashimo does have RCT. If not RCT, he can basically, since he is lightning himself, he can basically build himself back if he basically have the if still have the curse energy. So Kashimo with basically his technique is probably the third strongest we have seen. Not third strongest, but at least 4th to 5th strongest confirmed. He is basically way above Hakari already, as we saw that he was already going toe to toe with Hakari when he was in base, and he basically got way faster when he was like in his technique mode. And since we thought that he was basically actually going toe to toe with like damage Sukuna, so we do know that he was basically at least like way above any other character other than like Sukuna, Gojo, and one other character who is basically, I will mention who. I do think he will basically was stronger than Maki Toji, and even with their durability negation sword, Kashimo in his beast temper mode will actually be stronger than like Maki and Toji. Now, the only characters who stand a chance against him are basically these four, and the only reason why obviously Sukuna and Gojo is stronger than him, there is no question in it. Now let's compare him to Yuta, the one like after the fight of Sukuna versus Kenjaku at the time of his death. I do think Kashimo is actually stronger than him in terms of stat, and if without domains, Kashimo will actually beat them pretty easily, as not pretty easily, but like still he can defeat them, because actually we can say pretty easily, because in the end Kashimo barely need like 3 touches in his beast number mode, and he is super fast, so he can casually like touch them and manage to hit lightning and defeat them. So the only way Kashimo loses against these two characters is that the only way I do think Yuta and Kenjaku wins against Kashimo is that if they open their domain right in the fight. But I do think in terms of like character statement, if they don't know about their abilities, Kashimo will be the one coming out as the winner. But overall, Yuta and Kenjaku is stronger, but I do think in terms of their fight, Kashimo will actually come out the winner, because they won't go straight up like opening their domain or stuff, and Kashimo will basically destroy them in the start of the fight by destroying their hand and stuff, unless they have the ability to basically regenerate right away, which I doubt. And basically in simple words, if they're both going blood lusted and they don't open the domain, Kashimo wins. But if they are opening the domains bloodlusted direct right away, Kashimo will lose, because he won't really have any way to defend himself, since we never saw him with that domain. So I do think in terms of overall, Kashimo comes at number 5th strongest character in the entire series. But I do, we can put some scenario like Yuki as stronger because of her domain and all of that stuff. But I don't think Yuki can win against someone like Kashimo, because he would basically defeat her way earlier than she can open the domain, unless, as I said, she straight up goes for the opening the domain herself. Even basically in simple words, Kashimo only loses against domain user if they straight up goes opening their domain right in the start of the fight. But if they don't, they will probably lose against him, because he will casually destroy their arms, if not them murdering them right away and ending the fight right away. So yeah, I do think Kashimo is like the 5th strongest character we have seen in the entire series, and if he had the domain, he would have been probably the 3rd strongest character. But we never saw him having a domain. So I will place him at 5th strongest character in the entire series. So yeah, that's my opinion. Like if you don't agree, most probably people with problem is that people say he does not have a domain, so he's weaker. That does not really make him weaker. He just will lose the fight, which kind of make him weaker, but not exactly. Like the thing is that in terms of stat, Kashimo is probably the 3rd strongest, and in terms of like the like overall feats and overall fighting ability, he is probably the 5th one. So yeah, if you like the video, please make sure to like the video and make sure to subscribe my channel, and let me know in my comments that what type of video you want me to make next, and I will meet you in the next video. Bye bye.